Going on, everybody? Haven't made a video in a while. Thought I would get back on here and say hi. Hope everyone's doing okay still. A lot of states, everything's opening back up of sorts. So hopefully that progresses, and then all of this last year and some odd months is a fading nightmare that we can put behind us until the next time. I do think there's going to be a next time. I hope that the powers that be and the health leaders around the world can do a little bit better surveillance and educate people and maybe prevent something like what we just gone through. I feel like just gone through from happening again. I'm just gonna pop on here real quick and create a quick video, I guess. And the thing I want to talk about is convicted felons and other convicted felons. And when you have a criminal record, people do different things when they get out of prison. They either surround themselves with people like them, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. That's not meant to be, one way or the other toward anybody, but they'll either kind of tend to flock to people that are like them, or they'll tend to flock to people that are totally the exact opposite of who they are, or who they were, or who they think people see them as. I'd like to think that I've done a fair mix of both. I'm not, running around with gangbangers and drug dealers. That's never been me. That's not going to be me. But I'm also not a snob, and I'm not someone that is, I don't know. Everyone has different ways of dealing with and reconciling their past, and some people choose to try to make like that past never happened, like it never existed. If that's what makes them feel better and to allows them to go on, and they surround themselves with people that have no idea about their record. I mean, you could argue they really don't know them. I mean, is my thought. Someone that knows your past and your history and your record and still talks to you, or still interacts with you, or has business dealings with you, whatever the case may be, hires you, works you, those kinds of things. I think that's more wholesome, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. I like to think I've done a pretty good mixture of the two. I've been fortunate in that I've met people that do not have any kind of a criminal record or past, and not even a speeding ticket, and I've talked to them and told them what's happened, or they've learned what's happened through other means, and they've gotten to know me, and there's some understanding there, I'd like to think. So other people that have a record like me, that it when you go to prison, it kind of makes you, I guess, me anyway, I don't feel like I have a new type of sense about this, but I do feel like that when you go to prison, you can learn to recognize someone that has a record that's been through some of the same things that you have. And you can recognize that through certain maybe mannerisms or mechanics of their actions that they may take, or words they may say, certain habits they may have. It's like people in the military. When you have a gig line, you have the line that runs down your shirt, through your belt, and your pants, down your zipper if you're male or female, either one. A gig line is almost exclusively a military trait. Someone that still has that. Someone that still maybe has their boots polished, whether they're work boots or whether they're dress shoes or something. If they're really shined or have a light shine on them, they might have been in the military. If they keep a certain haircut, it's an indication they might have been in the military at some point. Certain phrases that people say who have been in the military, that only people that have been in the military will say, those kinds of things. And those same kind of things can relate to people that have been to prison. So I try to have very positive relationships with people in general, but also people especially that have been to prison. I don't want to be around someone that's actively dealing drugs. I don't want to be around someone that's actively using drugs. I don't want to be around someone that's constantly getting arrested for different things. Someone told me a long time ago, you can judge someone by the caliber of the people that they associate themselves with. Maybe that's fair. But again, just because you hang around with rich people that have no record, does that make you a better person? I don't think it does at all. That's not the point. But if you are constantly in situations that you find yourself being questioned by the police, then maybe you should not hang around in that area so much, or around those people so much, because they're the one bringing the attention. So, it's something that if you're constantly interacting with people that are going to bring trouble, then maybe you should hang around with those people. And so I choose not to. It doesn't mean that I don't interact with people that do have a record, because I work with people that have a record. I know people, and I talk to them fairly often, that other people like me that do have a criminal record of some sort, whether it's minor or major or whatever. And then when you're out places and you see people that maybe you served some time with, or maybe you were in jail with, or maybe you were at court one day and you talked to them for a little bit or whatever, or maybe you knew them from before and now they've seen you, and it's been a while, and maybe they know that you have been to prison. I've had that happen before, and they're not really sure how to approach you. So, there are certain rules with people that are convicted felons. If they're actively on any kind of parole or probation in most places, there's some restrictions about the person that's on probation or parole, for instance, can't associate with known felons, and that would include you, obviously. There's some exceptions to that, family and those kinds of things, I'm sure, but in general, they don't want a lot of felons hanging around, because things tend to happen, I guess, is their thought process. Doesn't mean it's right, but I could see where that'd be a legitimate, concern. So, there's people I know that have been in the military, and they're also convicted felons, and that, I think they're a different type of personality. People that have served their country, presumably honorably, and then they find themselves on the wrong side of the law. Courts have been developed for veterans, people that have veterans type issues, whether it's mental illness or drug use and abuse. Those kinds of things can tend to land them in the purview of law enforcement, in the courts, and those kinds of things. So people that have prior military service and then are also convicted felons, it's kind of a different, it doesn't mean that they're a better felon, I guess, if you want to say that. I'm not saying that, but there is at least that history where they have served a higher purpose than themselves. They sacrificed themselves. They gave their time, their efforts and energies and stuff to something bigger than themselves and serving their country. I don't know. Your interactions with other convicted felons can be positive or they can be negative, kind of like your interactions with your own family, your interactions with your coworkers, people you may work with and stuff, or be around in your personal and professional life. So I try to approach it the same way. Like I said, I don't associate with people. I don't go to areas where there's high crime and high drugs, because I don't do drugs and I don't commit crimes anymore. I don't hang around drug dealers. I don't like drugs. I mean, it kind of keeps me out of a lot of trouble. But the people that have been there and that have had a state of addiction and were, actively using drugs at one point in their life, and they've gotten sober, there's some really, redeeming stories that they have, and you can learn a lot from people. Whether it's the homeless guy on the street or whether it's the CEO of the company, where the homeless guy begs outside of it, doesn't matter. You can learn a lot from anybody. Whether you want to learn about the specifics of how to open this type of safe for a bank robber, I really wouldn't recommend it. But the kind of struggles and personal battles that a person may have faced and may have succeeded in getting over, that can restore some faith in humanity if you need that. So I've found that convicted felons tend to be honestly, I think some of the best people that I've ever known, because they have had that adversity. They have had to start over. They have had to get out of being away from society for a period of time, and they've had to start over. And you get $7 and a pair of shorts, and that's what you get when you get out. And they go on and they get their own companies. They develop something that people need, that isn't illegal, and they sell it, and they get millions of dollars. They get out. There's all kinds of stories I could recite, but There's one guy that was in prison for a long time in California and was released from prison by an order of the governor there. And before that, he was on a fairly well-known podcast called Ear Hustle. And he's a friend of mine on Facebook. I've made some comments on some of his stuff. He's made some comments on my stuff. He's a very good guy, Earlonne Woods, and think very highly of him. There's other people that have served time, and they've become attorneys. They've challenged for the bar exam, and they've taken that step of going through law school, and they've been able to take and pass the bar exam and be able to be attorneys in different states. So, felony record is not a good thing. I'm not saying that you should go out and get a felony just to have this undying brotherhood of people that are going to come to your aid whenever you need it. It's not what I'm saying. But there are people that I've found that are convicted felons that have some of the most interesting stories about how they got there, what they've done since they've been out, and in the right situations, in the right scenarios, those people can be some of the best friends you're ever going to have. Minus a few obvious exceptions, I guess. If they've had any kind of sex crimes or anything like that, I wouldn't really associate with any of them. But I don't know. Prison changes people, and they get out and they decide. I think you decide while you're in there every day what kind of person you're going to be, and whether or not you're going to try to escape, whether you're going to run away, run off or something, whether you're going to fight somebody or fight a staff member, break the rules constantly, spend more time than you have to spend in there, whether you're going to get out and alienate your entire family, be mad and upset of what they did while you were in there and they didn't talk to you and didn't write you and moved on with their own lives because they had to. You can be angry and bitter about that, or you can get out and start your own life. It's up to you. But when you get out, you can see how the results of choices and where that can lead to. And so hopefully, you learn from that and don't make those bad choices ever again. And that's it's something I deal with every day. I don't break the law. I might speed 5 miles an hour over or something here and there, but I don't break the law anymore. It's not something that I want to do. It's being a convicted felon. The things that got me there forever changed my personality and my character and how I interact with people. I think I'm a lot more honest now. Try to be very much more honest than I ever was before. I don't know. It's you can have positive, supportive, good relationships with people that are convicted felons, and you can hire them and they'll work for you. Or you can be one of those people and you can work for someone and they know your record and they still hire you, and something happens where there's a conflict and that person will fight for you and lobby for you and say, hey, he's doing the right thing. Why, whatever. So having a record is a challenge, but it also has, I'm not going to say benefits, but there are some good things that can come out of that. Some growth, some things you can happen and see from yourself. So that's about all I've got time for tonight. Take care of each other, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you. Thanks.